Hey guys, welcome and thanks for stopping by. This video we're going to help you troubleshoot your home thermostat. And so if you suspect that your thermostat is not working properly, this will help you diagnose it and determine whether the thermostat is indeed good or bad before you go out and buy one. So this hopefully will save you some time and money and assist you and get you to kind of understand the thermostat and how it's wired and how it functions. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's take a look at the thermostat. So here is your system settings switch. You have your cool, off, heat. To the left you have your fan switch. You have auto and on, and you can flip it on if you wanted to run your furnace blower to circulate the air, clean the air, what have you. So if you have it on, it'll stay running 24 hours a day unless until you turn it to auto. The auto would be when the blower fan will come on only when the furnace or the air conditioner does. And this is a programmable thermostat, so it's got these different buttons for setting your programming, run your programming. If you want to run it manually, it's got a hold button that you can push, and that'll hold the temperature until you manually change it again. So let's take this cover off and take a look at the base here. So you got your incoming wires, your thermostat wires. Starting to the left, you've got the W, which is your heating circuit. That's a white wire, W for white. The next one is a Y. Typically it's a yellow wire. This one here is actually blue. And then G for green, that's your fan circuit. Over here is R for your 24 volts. That's your 24 volt power. And as you can see on the R, there's a jumper right there. So you'll have an R and an RC. One of them is R heat, RH, R heat for heat, RC for R cooling. So your thermostat, depending on how it's set up, you may or may not need this jumper. So if you bought a new thermostat, you'd have to just read the instructions to see whether that thermostat needs a jumper or not. So let's take a look at the back here, and you can see the pins that will, when you mount the thermostat, it'll stab into these holes here. Okay, and then you'll have a electric or heat pump setting, gas or oil. Mine is a natural gas furnace, so I've got to click to the left. But if you had an electric heater or heat pump, you'd want to click that to the right. Okay, and then basically what the thermostat does, for example, if you call for heating, the thermostat itself makes a connection and sends 24 volts from the R red wire over to the W white. So really, if I was to take this red wire and put it and touch the white wire, then the heating would come on. So that's really all that the thermostat does. It just makes a connection between a couple of points. For cooling, the thermostat will take the red and send it over to the Y and energize, send 24 volts down to the Y to the furnace control board. So that's really what the thermostat does. It just takes two wires and puts them together. So if I was to put the red and the white together, if I was to take these off and put them together, then the heat would come on. Same thing with the R and the G. If I put those together, the fan's going to come on. So that's really all your thermostat does, is connects a couple of wires. So we're going to take notice where, again, the W is on the left, and let's go to the right we'll count off to the red wire. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so with this mounted, if I take it off and flip it around, then my pins are going to be, they're on the left like this, but they'll start off on the right. Okay, so those pins there. So what we're going to do is take our meter and see if our thermostat is actually sending the signal to the different terminals there. And that's how we're going to determine whether the thermostat is good or not. So we'll do that here real quick. Okay folks, I switched my GoPro because I'm going to need a couple hands to demonstrate this. So we're going to go ahead and take the thermostat. We're going to turn that to heat. We're going to raise the temperature to initiate the call for heat. And you'll hear a little click, just like that. I don't know if you heard it, but we'll turn this over. Okay, we're going to go to our meter, set that to the resistance readings, the ohms readings, and we should get 0 ohms. Now we'll go to the thermostat, and this first pin was the W, and the 6th pin was the R terminal. Okay, so with that, we determine that the thermostat is functioning properly. It's sending the signal from the R to the W to send power and voltage down to the control board. So that's what you want to hear, and that's what you want to see. Now, if you don't get that, with it turned to heat and the temperature raised, if you don't hear that, if you don't have that continuity, then it's a good shot, a good bet that the thermostat is bad. So that's how you determine the thermostat. So now we'll go down to the control board of the furnace and take a look at that wiring and explain some more things there. Okay, so now we're here at the control board, and here on the terminal block of the board you can see C for common, R for red, W for white, which is a heat circuit, G for green, which is your fan circuit, and then Y for yellow, and again in this case it's blue. Now these two wires, one goes to the yellow and then one goes to the common. This is your condenser for your air conditioner, so we won't worry about those right now. So another way to test the thermostat is to take off your red wire and your white wire. Again, red is your 24 volts, W is for the heating circuit, and I've got my thermostat on. So I'm going to turn this to the ohms setting again. And then what we'll do is from the thermostat, we'll take the white and the red, touch those together, you get the 0 ohms, which means your thermostat is working. So that's another way to test it. Okay, and then there's also a third way that I'll show you here real quick. Okay, so another way I test it is through voltage. So with my thermostat on, I'm going to turn my meter to the voltage reading, and then from ground, which is anywhere on the furnace, to the red, I will always have 24 volts. In this case 26. It's not always going to be, perfect on 24. So anywhere from 24 to 27. And then I take it and I put it over to the W, and I'll have the same voltage on the W if the thermostat is working properly. So you can test it with voltage as well to see if it's sending the voltage down to the W circuit, the white, which it is. So that's another way to test it. Okay, so I've got a handwritten diagram here, this representing the thermostat and this representing your control board, and you have your wires going in between the two. So like we discussed earlier, there's always 24 volts on the R circuit on the control board, which the 24 volts goes up here to the thermostat. When there's a call for heat internally in the thermostat, it will switch over here to the W, sending 24 volts down, which will start the furnace. So again, 24 volts up here at the thermostat from the board, call for heat, sends 24 volts to the W, which is the heating circuit, down to the control board, starts the furnace. Now if we have the testing that is good on the thermostat like we did earlier, so if your thermostat tests good but you're not getting 24 volts down here at the control board, then it's possible that you got a line break. And it's rare, but it does happen. When homes are built, the builders will staple the thermostat to the framework, and sometimes they'll hammer that staple a little bit too hard, and over time that wire will just break. Kind of rare, but it happens. I've seen it before. So if you don't have 24 volts, if that thermostat's testing fine, then you probably have a line break if you're not getting 24 volts down here. So I just wanted to show you that on paper, see if it's maybe a little bit easier for you to kind of grasp. So I think that's about it for this training video, and hope to see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Okay guys, hey, thanks again for stopping by and taking a look at my video. I really appreciate it, and I've got a lot more coming, so hopefully you hit like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you down the road on more training videos. Thanks a lot.